Hello everybody. So I come home from work this evening, check out the tanks, make sure everyone's doing alright. And what do I see in here? The last batch of pearlweed with guppy grass mixed in. That was in there in the back has come undone. Somehow made its way floating to the front of the tank, looking like crap. And that is one of the reasons, well, it is the reason why I've been phasing out guppy grass and pearlweed in my tanks. Now both of them are really good plants and they have their uses, and pearlweed even looks cool, I think. But no matter how well I plant it, stick it in the sand substrate, this is what ends up eventually happening. It wants to float away and go to its own spot. So now I'm about to, the guppy grass, I'll never get rid of it. The pearlweed, I think I'm going to hold on to it. I think I'm going to get it all out, separate it from the guppy grass, and plant what I have of the pearlweed in that big mess in my stock tank. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and see how much of what I got. Okay, so now I've removed the annoying clump. There's about half pearlweed, half guppy grass. And another thing with pearlweed, especially if you have a bunch of moss like I do in this tank, every time a little stem or a little leaf breaks free, it floats around. And there's my filter output right there, and guess where all the little loose leaves and crap ends up in the moss, right there. There's still little bits of guppy grass. I just picked out a bunch, but every little time there's a little piece or stem of anything floats off and gets stuck down in there in the moss, it takes off as a little pearlweed plant. Pearlweed's not as bad, but guppy grass, there's a wild piece floating. There's a piece of it right there in the moss. Trying to keep things looking halfway decent. There's some I missed right there in that plant of guppy grass. Anyway, actually just had someone asking me if I had any pearlweed. And I said, well, I really don't, because I'm phasing it out. Well, this is why I was phasing it out, but that made me think, this is my last big piece of it. There's still some where I want it back there. Some of it stayed in there. So, I got 2 decent bits of it I'm going to put in my stock tank to grow out. And I know, with underneath that light, And the way I'm fertilizing that now, it'll take off. Here are the two clumps I picked out of the pearl weed. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can get the stay in place. I won't be scattered everywhere in there. So maybe those are some things to think about if you're thinking about guppy grass or pearl weed. Guppy grass, I mean, if you just want a wild, crazy tank, there's just plants everywhere and you don't care how it looks. Guppy grass will get you that real quick. Pearl weed, at one point it was one of my favorite plants. But its stems are so delicate and they snap off, and there's always the loose pieces of pearl weed floating around, and that's why I've ended up going with mainly the Hygrophila Aquarium boza, water wisteria, which is Hygrophila deformis, and moss, the pilo moss. It's like here in my yellow tank, now I'm talking about mosses. This was mainly just peacock moss, like is in my snowball tank. That was just peacock moss. And see how the peacock moss started off a little bit here, a little bit over here, and that's all it's done. The pilo moss, I had it overrun in the tank. I was like, I'll put some of that in here. I put some. This was a big clump of peacock moss right here, and I put a little bit of pilo moss. And now look at the pilo moss. It's gone out of the substrate, grown over the rocks, and that's what it does. That's what it looks like when it just grows like a moss would. You're not using it as a carpeting plant. And now it's starting to take over the peacock moss. It's almost all the way to the back of that tank. And then in this tank, I have some pilo moss. Grown it as a carpet here, and then some of it just started going and spread over here, and it started climbing up the rock, and that's what you end up with when it's climbing up on the rocks. Now I have my Nubius. And this tank is doing good. The Anubias in here is doing good. The Anubias in here, no bueno. The Anubias in here, eh. And the Anubias in here has really started to kind of, not do so good. Well, I can grow all these super fast growing Java fern. Blech. That's my best Java fern I got left. Oh, I can't grow Java fern, believe it or not. But they ain't been fed yet. You guys hungry? Okay. Just thought I'd share about my plants. And how pearlweed and guppy grass can be a pain in the butt. Well, that doesn't even begin to touch on the biggest pain in the butt for me. Duckweed. I had this tank almost completely clear of duckweed maybe 2 weeks ago. except for, you know, the odd ones that make it. You can't get every single one of them. And now it is 80% of the surface is covered. So that's the biggest plant I don't like. I find a use for guppy grass and pearlweed, but duckweed, oh, god dang, that stuff sucks. Anyway, I guess I started going on a gripe about some plants. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.